Hi, Joanna. Good morning again.
Hello, teacher. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Very good. Okay. Uh, welcome to. One moment. I'll share my screen. Okay. Okay. Today, this lesson is a fascinating, interesting grammar lesson for you. Okay. For you today, we're going talking about the conditional sentences in English. I'm going to go over the basic structure and the meaning of all conditional sentences in English, okay? Okay, dear student, in this first exercise of our lesson, you have to give me your point of view of the video, okay?
Teacher, this video have a sound because I can hear.
Okay, 1 minute, please.
Thank you, teacher. Ah, 小安。滴滴滴。
哎，这是什么？哇，好漂亮！谢谢小安。你饿了吗？
嗯。I hold your laughter safe inside my mind. Sweet moments captured so I can rewind. I'll always have them, so anywhere I fly, I know you'll be by my side. You lift me up when I'm feeling small. Upon your shoulders, I become so tall. And though you raise me high above it all, I have no doubt that you'll catch me if I fall. You give me everything. You see the best in me. No matter where you go, you'll come back home.
Finish all my homework. 你要去哪里 I just don't want to be stuck here.
我不管，你哪里都不能去。
妈。啊！ Okay? 4:30 on Thursday? Okay. See you then. Hey, Ma. Smells good in here. Ma. Ma. Mom. Are you okay? Mom, what's wrong? Mom! Is that enough, Ma?
Mommy? Hey, sweetie. You hungry? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, guys, tell me, you have to give me your point of view of the video, okay? Joanna, please.
Yes, teacher. This video is really nice. I can see the grown stage. Sometimes can be complicated. The end it's something sad. It's some sad because the mother is older, and I can be also all the support he has to us, and I think we must evaluate it very much at the mothers.
Thank you, Joanna. Continue, please, Carlos.
I think the video was an accurate representation of what is life, and more the more important part for me was when how the mother kind of lost their their purpose when the daughter grew up, because she already have their life, and she's already living herself. So the video shows like the mother has like no purpose there, but she still love her. And and but I think that uh, it should show how life is not just that, is more than that. And she was young, and she could make more things when her daughter was already grew up. So that's my point of view.
Okay, great, Carlos. Thank you. Good morning, David. Tell me, welcome back, David.
Hello, teacher.
No, David, please tell me, give me your point of view of the video, please.
Well, for the little I saw about the video, I think from the video we should save and be well of our precious moments with our family, because maybe I might be wrong, but we don't know and when when they are gone or where they're going to go out of our life. So every moment that we have to be with them, we have to just enjoy it, and that's it.
Okay, David. Thank you. Okay, sometimes it feels like English grammar can be people lose like, yeah, there is some rules, but sometimes they don't apply. Okay, sometimes there is exceptions. I got to ticket, but there are some grammatical structures in English that follow really clear rules, and the structure of conditional sentences is nice and clear, which makes it easier for you to feel confident about the way that you express your thoughts and your ideas when you speak. Conditional sentences always have a cause and effect. Real conditional thought about the real situations in the present or the near future. Okay, I'm going to give you lots of examples to help you understand when to use them and how to use them. Okay, plus I also how I also be talking about how to use conditionals without if, which is pretty shocking, maybe. Um, because if is the start of the conditional sentences, but actually you can use other words in place of the if as well. So I'm going to go through all of that right here during this lesson, okay? Let's do a quick check together before we have started. There are 5 different types of conditional sentences. You know that the basic for of all of all the sentences in the same, right? We had an if clause and a main clause, and the things that are difference about these 5 types of conditional sentences relate to time and also to the verb tenses. Okay, we are going to continue exploring conditionals, which are one of the most interesting and exciting grammar structure in English. I think so. This lesson today it's going to help you to expand your understanding of the conditional in English. I think you already know the basics, but today we're going to go a little deeper on four conditionals. We use conditional sentences to explain what actually happens, what could happen to a possible and likely outcome in the future. We thought about what we wish could happen. So imagining a different outcome for our present situation and what might have happened. So thinking about a different outcome that happened in the past. Okay, now there are four types of conditional sentences. They are all really similar, but they're not the same. If I get sick, I go to the doctor. If I get sick, I will go to the doctor. If I got sick, I will go to the doctor. If I have been sick, I would have gone to the doctor. So let's talk about what is the same or what is similar about all of the sentences. They all use two clauses. There are two parts to each sentences separated by a comma, and they all use the conjunction if. Just a little reminder that we use conjunction, okay? In English, to join two ideas together in one sentence. I ate an apple and two desserts. I like it, but I don't want. I do it if you drive me to cinema later. So all of these words are really tiny grammatical words, but they have an important function. They are connecting two ideas together, and conditional sentences all use F to join two ideas together. Okay. Okay. In all conditional sentences, we have an if clause and result clause. So the if clause is the event or the situation that must happen in order for the other things to happen. So the result can only happen if the if clause occurs. And that is why it's called a conditional sentence. A condition is something that you have to do or a situation that needs to exist in order for something else to happen. Okay. You can get used without squeezing an orange. There is a really important relationship between these two things. Okay. One relies on the other. Okay, now again, the sentences, they are all quite similar, but there are some really clear difference as well. I mean, check out the verbs, okay? This is where the main difference between these conditional sentences are. It's all in the verbs. You can see it, okay? And the meaning is different too. We use each type of sentences in a different situation. If you haven't already noticed, we have the zero conditional, the first conditional, the second conditional, and the third conditional. And I'm going to go through each type of conditional sentences now, one by one, okay? Okay, so let's get started with the zero conditional. And I recommend that you take some notes as we go through all of these examples. The zero conditional is called the factual conditional. If I get sick, I will go to the doctor. So it's possible that in future I get sick and if that occurs, I will probably go to the doctor. So we use if with the present simple and will with our verb infinitive. Okay, another example. If it's hot tomorrow, I'll go for a swim at the beach. Now, am I sure that it will be not tomorrow? And if it is hot, it's highly likely that it will go for a swim. And it's one of the easiest to remember because both clauses are in the present simple tense. We have the if clause with the present simple and then the present simple in the main result clause as well. Okay, so if this happens, then this is what happens. We use the zero conditional to talk about habits, facts, and truths. You can argue about these things, okay? With these things, we are not talking about possibility. It's fact. If you put ice in your drink, a smell is really simple. Okay, the city conditionals thought about situations of cause and effect. They always true. We use the simple present in both clauses in the sentence. Okay, for example, when I go on a vacation, I take a good book with me. Whenever she sees a big dog, she feels nervous. Okay, so I want you to practice by finishing these sentences for me. I want you to write your sentences in the chat, so that I can check it. Okay, if I eat. Remember the present simple and present simple for the zero conditional. Okay.
Okay, teacher, how much art?
Only one. Okay. Okay, Carlos, very good. Okay, remember, Joanna, the zero conditional is present simple and the present simple. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, Carlos and David, thank you. Very, very good. Another, for example, another example for this sentence. If I eat an apple a day, I keep from a doctor away. Okay. Now when we are talking about a situation of cause and effect in the present or the near future, that is possible, probable. We use the first conditional. The cause clause of this sentence will always be in the simple present. We have different options to complete the effect clause. The simple future, the modal verbs can't, should, must, have to. For example, if we have some time this afternoon, we will go to shopping. If there are any apples left, you can have one. If it rains, take an umbrella with you. The first conditional is real. We use it to talk about things that are possible and likely in the future outcomes. There is a likely chance of it happening. So to make the first conditional is simple. We use the present simple verbs in our if clause. And we use the future tense will in our main clause. So we use will along with an infinitive verb. For example, if I miss the bus, I will take a taxi. If they lose the game, they gon' go to the finals. If you get too close to the flames, you'll get burned. So notice that we all of these examples, these are real, they are possible, and they are likely to happen in the future. Okay, so now it's your turn to finish a sentence. Okay, if we leave now, complete the sentences in the chat and feel free to write your own conditional sentence. Very good. Carlos, el verbo era live, no vivir, sino dejar, ¿ok?
Ah, ok. No estaba viendo la pantalla, parece que me
Ah,
confundí, entonces.
ok.
Sí, teacher, me pasó lo mismo.
Ok, no problema. Cuando no miren la pantalla me dicen, por favor. Okay, now we have the second conditional, and we use it when we want to imagine that the present situation is different. So if I get upset, I go to the doctor. Uh, this is a hypothetical situation, right? Is not real. Do I look sick? I am not sick. I imagining that the present situation is different for some reasons. I imagining that I am sick now. If that were true, I would go to the doctor. Now, am I really going to the doctor? No, because I am not actually upset. Is an unreal. Remember, is an unreal situation, but to express this in English, we use if we with the past simple, and then good and the verb infinitive in the result clause. Okay, so we use the modal verbs good to show that we are imagining the result. Don't forget during English, all verbs that follow modal verbs are in the infinitive form. If I had more money, I could buy a boat. Now it's really common and natural to use contractions in conditional sentences. I could definitely say I am speaking naturally. If I had more money, I would add both. I'd had youth date. This pronunciation is much more common in spoken English. Okay, we actually have to leave the real world, the absurd world behind us, because although there is a possibility of the result happening when we use the second conditional, it tells us that the option is quite unlikely. Okay, so it's often called the unreal things. So we use the second condition to talk about imaginary situation in the present. So these are unreal situations. We also use it to talk about unlikely future outcomes as well. So it looks like if and the past simple in our if clause. And then good with the infinitive verb following in the main clause. For example, if I missed the bus, I would take a taxi. If they lost the game, they wouldn't go to the finals. If you got too close to the flames, you'd get burned. Okay, now it's your turn to finish the sentences. If I finish were earlier. Okay, finish the sentences in the chat. There are lots of different uses for the second conditional. You easy to give advice, to give reasons why we can do something, and generally just imagine the life is different. Okay, excellent, David. Thank you. David, please, can you read your sentence?
My sentence, teacher.
Yes.
If I finish work earlier, I will have time to get on time at the party.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay, Joanna. Please, Joanna, you do read your sentence.
Okay. If I finish work earlier, me faltó have, I would have more time to me.
Okay, please, Carlos.
If I finished work earlier, I would have had time to more time to sleep. Me faltó el more. Una pregunta, profe, ahí. ¿Está bien poner los dos halves, el have y el had? ¿O solo se pone uno nomás?
Bueno, cuando hablamos de los segundos condicionales, sí, porque como les dije, siempre va, bueno, el present primero, ¿no? Primero va el presente simple y luego va good. Puede que, bueno, hay ciertas reglas, ¿no? Ciertas reglas. Pero sí, siempre es mejor omitirla. ¿Listo, Carlos? En las segundas condicionales.
Listo, gracias.
¿Pueden mirar la pantalla?
No, señora.
No.
En este momento, ¿ya la pueden ver?
Sí,
Sí,
profe.
señora.
Okay, these examples look pretty similar to the first conditional examples, right? So with just a couple of little edits, we have subtly changed this result to sound less likely. Suddenly, we've got a set of hypothetical or imaginary situations and the results, but those results are unlikely to actually happen, right? Such is the second conditional. Many ideas can be currently expressed in English using both the first and the second conditional sentences structure, but each type of sentences changes the meaning. Noticeably, so you really need to be careful about which type of sentences structure you are using. You've got to carefully choose, okay? So let's look at a couple of examples to help you out. So we got, if I miss the bus, I will take a taxi. If I miss the bus, I would take a taxi. Now, in the first example, this is real and possible. It's based on actual situations. Just imagine that you are walking down the streets quite quickly towards the bus stop, because it's actually it's exact time that the bus is supposed to arrive, and there is a chance in Poland at the bus stop right now, and you are hoping that it's not because you are going to be late otherwise, right? You still want to make it to work on time, but in your head, as you are walking, you are coming up with a backup plan, right? A plan B. Here's what you are going to do. If I miss the bus, I will take a taxi. So the situation is based on a real life scenario, right? Something that is likely to happen. There is a good chance the bus has already come to bus or stop. And you are not there, but the second example, in the second conditional, totally imaginary. Maybe if God no plans a role to take the bus, maybe I don't even take the bus to work, or perhaps I'm extremely punctual. I'm almost never late to the bus, but for whatever reason, the outcome is very likely to happen. And we know that because we're using the second conditional. Okay, the grammar structure that you choose influences the meaning of your sentence. Okay, let's do a few more examples. If I run out of butter, I just use oil. So again, imagine, okay, that you are baking and there isn't much butter left. You can be butter going to the shows. So if got a plant, if I run out of butter, I know what I'm going to do. And this is likely even right. If I'm brand out of butter, I just use oil. Okay. Now, this is a hypothetical situation. I am not talking about a specific baking event. That's happening now, okay? I'm just talking about what it could happen very quickly to if this ever happened to me while I was baking. I could be given advice to someone who's asking. If I run out of butter, you just use oil. You won't notice the difference. Okay, another examples. If she finds a dog on the street, she'll adopt it. She loves dogs, right? She has plans to adopt a dog. In fact, she's looking for a dog in the little lot of street dogs in her area. So it's quite likely that if she finds a dog on the streets that doesn't have a home, it's quite likely that she'll adopt it. If she found a dog on the street she adopted. So again, she loves dogs. Perhaps there is actually not many Swiss dogs in her area, which makes the outcome. Okay. Another example. If she were taller, she could play basketball. Okay. So this is the second conditional, right? And she's imagining what she could do if she had been born taller, but she wasn't, right? She can change her height. So the situation has to be unreal. So for that reason, be careful because we can't write a version of this is the first conditional. There is not a likely chance or a likely outcome where this could happen, right? Okay, she can change the way that she is. However, we can say you no if we are talking about a child who is still growing, then it's possible, right? But we might have to change the verb and say, if she grows taller, she will play basketball. It's really important to keep in mind that many ideas can be expressed in the first or the second conditional, depending on whether they are real or imaginary. But not all ideas can be expressed in both tenses, right? So be careful about that. Real versus imaginary, okay? Okay, so take a look at the sentences here. Is a conditional sentence. It has two clauses. It has a present tense verb in the first clause. It has well and the base verb in the main clause, but it doesn't have the where if. Okay, it actually doesn't matter. The sentences is still a conditional sentence. A first conditional sentences, and there are a couple of very specific words that you can use to replace if in the first or and also the second conditional. It's still a conditional sentence, but the where that you choose, of course, has the ability or change the meaning of your sentences slightly. Okay, unless it rains soon, the lake will dry up. Or if it rains soon, the lake won't dry up. Both of these sentences are okay. They are great, but of course, okay, the change affects the meaning of our sentences is likely, okay? So we need to be aware of that. You can definitely replace if with the word unless, okay? But the meaning is slightly different. It means if not or except if. And you can use unless in the first, in the second conditional sentence structure. But it can't be used to talk about past situations that can be changed, right? So you can use unless in the third conditional sentences structure. Okay, check out some examples. Unless she apologizes, I will not forget her. Unless it gets below 0 degrees, the water won't freeze. Unless they fired me, I couldn't leave the company. Okay, besides unless and if, We can also use as long as, which is really, really useful if you want to set a limit or a condition on the expression. So this is like saying if and only if the conditional happens. So if the conditional doesn't happen, then the result is not possible or is not allowed. As long as is usually used with the first conditional because is used when the result is expected. Okay, as long as I get time off work, I come for a visit. As long as it's not too crowded, well, stay for dinner. As long as finish his homework, he'll join you at this skate park. We've got one more option to replace if with, and that is using supposing or supposing that. So using supposing that helps the listener to imagine a situation. So it's really similar to using if, but just with a bit of extra command or to really tell the listener that you want them to imagine. Another imagination. Now it can be used either the first or the second conditional, but it's much more countable in the second conditional for sure because you are imagining, right? Supposing I can change my flight, I can a few days early. Supposing you got a huge Christmas bonus, would you go on holiday? Okay, this one talked about the past and specifically an unreal past, not true past, an unreal one. Okay, we use the dear conditional to imagine a situation in the past and the imaginary result, which is also in the past. Okay, so it's imaginary, it's not real, it's not truth. Okay, because we can change the past. Sometimes we wish we could, but we can. So that's why you often hear the dear conditionals being used to talk about regress, things that we wish were different. So let's look at a few examples to get started. If I had left earlier, I wouldn't have missed my flight. So I am a bit upset about that, right? I'm upset I missed my flight. I wish that I had have left my house a little bit earlier. I know run late. I wish that I could go back in time and be on the plane, but I can't because my flight got. There is nothing that I can do about it now, upset by another ticket. Well, we can use the fierce conditional to show how angry or how frustrated we are about the situation, right? And now, look, if you hadn't been so rude, they would have invited you back. You were rude, maybe obviously. Now they're not going to invite you back again in the future. You can't go back and change it now, can you? Whether you want to or not. If I hadn't been going so fast, I wouldn't have been fined. Yeah, I go found which is annoying, but it's already happened. I can change it out, right? That's something you definitely can change. So we use the third conditional to talk about things that we regret, things that we wish we could change about the past, and also to tell someone off for something that they did in the past. Okay, so to make the third conditional, we need a few things. We need if in the past perfect, then we need a comma, and then we need the perfect conditional. You might be wondering what is the past perfect or the perfect conditional. So think about it this way. The past perfect is subject we had in the past participle verb. If I had left earlier, if you hadn't been so rude, if I hadn't been going so fast, okay? These are all examples of the past perfect. This is just reminding you a little about this topic. Okay, now the perfect conditional is subject we could have and the past participle verb. So it's just the present perfect with good in front of it. For example, I couldn't have missed my flight. They would have invited you back. I couldn't have got that ticket. So okay, let's put the third conditional all together. We need if the subject had and the past participle, then the comma, very important, followed by the subject could have in the past participle. That's the third conditional. So let's look at some examples. And the third conditional is the past and real conditional. If I had been sick, I could have gone to the doctor. We use this structure to imagine a different past, different to the one that actually happened, right? We use if with the past perfect and could have with the past participle. Just to be clear, the if clause did not actually happen, but I am imagining the result if the past was different. So in the situation was I really said, I am not talking about what actually happened. I am talking about what could have happened in the past, but didn't, and what I could have done if I had happened. Okay, when you regret something in the past, something that happened in the past, and you wish that result was different. If we had looked at the weather report, we could have stayed home. If you had called me, I would have come. No, you didn't call, so I didn't come. I wish that I could change this because I've loved to come. If she had replied to me messages, I wouldn't have been so worried. I wish that she has so that I didn't have to worry. Another example, if I had taken better care of myself, I wouldn't have got sick. So I am expressing regret about the past here. I wish I am taking better care of myself. Okay, now we can actually use different small verbs in the main clause. So we can replace could have with other modals like might and could. So we use might have to show a probability or a certainty. If she studied more, she might have passed. But she might have also failed again. You are not sure we are not certain, right? If we were certain about the imaginary result in the past, then we could use could have, okay? That's more certain since we are not exactly sure about what the result could have been. Then using might have, okay? Is probably the better option. Okay, now we use could have to talk about possibility and ability. Okay, if you had lent me your car, I could have got there faster. Now, I'm just saying that I could have been able to get there faster. With a car, I could have the ability to arrive sooner. Okay, it's your turn now. If I had complete the sentences. Okay, let's do it. Chicos, vuelvo en 2 minuticos, ¿listo? Okay, guys, are you ready? Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, the style of grammar lesson might sound serious, but learning to use conditionals effectively, okay, is going to help you to express yourself clearly and be really creative in English. Um, the conditionals are really common. Native speakers use them all the time. So if you start paying attention, you are definitely going to notice the sentence structure as you are reading and even as you are listening to. Now, we're going to focus on the zero conditional and the first condition again. And we'll talk about how they are different but very important when you should use one or the other, okay? So I'm going to assume that you know most of the bases about conditional sentences. For example, if you study grammar, it gets easier. If you practice every day, you will improve. If I live in an English speaking country, I could be fluent. If I had known how useful English was for me earlier, I would have paid more attention to it at school. So each of these sentences has an if clause and a main clause, but there are some differences between them, especially when verb tenses and time references. And all of them changes the meaning. One of them is a fact. Another is about the present, but is an unreal present. Another is about an imaginary past. Okay, now we are going to focus on these two. Okay, the zero and the first conditional. The zero conditional, is also called the factual or the real conditional because we use it to talk about truths and facts. Things that are real in the world. We also use it to talk about habits and rules and to give exceptions that are the result of something else. So, in other words, if this happens, then this is the reason always, okay? It's a fact. It's the truth. It's just how it is what happens. Okay, we use the present simple in both clauses. In the zero conditional, you can use either if or when. In the if clause, and the meaning with either word is pretty similar. But we use if when there is a chance that the action will happen, or it might not happen as well, okay? If it does happen, then we know exactly what the result will be. For example, if I work out, I feel healthier. So I work out and the result is pretty obvious. When I do work out, I feel healthier. I feel better about myself. Okay, it's true, but that doesn't mean that I do it all the time, right? I don't always feel healthy, especially if I don't work out. We use when we know for sure the action is going to happen. We might not know exactly when it's going to happen, but we know that it will okay. When I work out, I feel healthier. So I remove the possibility that it's not going to happen. There is no question I will work out. The specific time doesn't matter. We just know that is going to happen in the future. So it's a zero difference. And the same difference absolutely applies in the first conditional. We can use if or when as well, okay, in the first condition. But back to the forming the series conditional. Let's look at a few examples. When the sun sets, it gets dark. If you leave a milk out, it spoils. If the power goes out, we can watch TV. So these are all facts and truths. Okay. Okay. Now, what about the sentences? In winter, it's cold. The sentences is a fact. It has the present simple verbs, but it's not a conditional sentences. Can you tell me, guys, why? Tell me, guys, why the sentences is not a conditional sentence? David, Carlos, Joanna.
I'm thinking, teacher.
Perfect.
The teacher, I think it's because it's just a fact. There's nothing in the sentence that say that an action will result in another. There's no condition, so it's not a conditional so
Yes, great feedback. Yes, this sentences doesn't have two clauses. It is a fact, yeah. But we don't have the condition and the result clause. It's just a present simple sentence, only the sentence, okay? But the next sentences. But what about now? If it's cold, light the fire. Now, we've got a conditional and the result. And this is a good example of how the zero conditional can be used to give instructions. Okay. I am using in the imperative form to do that. Okay. Okay. We also use the zero conditional to talk about rules. For example, children can swim if an adult is with them. And we use it to talk about habits. If it's hot, I go to the beach. This is if something that I usually do is a habit, right? It happens often. Can you see how in all of the examples that the two separate parts of the sentences are connected? Okay, we are stating a fact or a truth in the main clause, but it's only possible on the conditional, the if clause. So now we know the zero conditional is the factor of the real conditional. Okay. Okay. Um, Okay, tell me, what about the first conditional? Is also called the passive conditional. Now we are not talking about facts anymore, okay? These they're absolutely 100% truth. Now we are talking about possible future results. They might happen, but they might not happen as well. So a time when you are thinking about what's possible in the future, we can use it to talk about predictions, superstitions, plans, promises, affairs, assumptions, and words. Okay, like there is a lot of different way that we can use the first conditional. Okay, so all of these things talked about what is likely to happen in the future, um, likely outcome. So in the first conditional, we are not just using the present simple anymore, because we are talking about the future, okay? In the if clause, we still use a present simple verb, but in the main clause, we use the future tense. Well, if this thing happens, then this will likely happen. It will probably happen. We cannot be absolutely sure. You think so? If you don't, eat now, you'll be hungry later. If she doesn't call, I'll be annoyed. And just like in the city conditional, we can still use if or when in the if clause, and it depends on how sure we are that something is gonna happen. And when tells us we are very confident that the action in the if clause is going to happen. In the result, in the main clause, is the most likely account. When the sun sets, a well get cold. Okay. Okay. Now, what about the sentences? If aliens arrive on Earth, I will return. Now, I'll give you a clue. There is something not quite right about the sentences. Something about it sounds strange, but it has a present simple verb and well, with the base verb following, so it looks right. But this is not a possible situation. Well, not really, but this is more of a hypothetical, okay, situation, right? So it could be better to use the second conditional to talk about this hypothetical situation. Remember, okay? Okay, so we talked about the zero conditional. We've thought about the first conditional, but what is the difference between them? Let's take a look. If you leave the make out at the sports, if you leave the milk out, it well spells. Where's one's correct? They are both correct, okay? They are both possible, but choosing to use the zero of the first conditional does change the meaning of the sentences a little. So, in the first sentence, we are stating a general fact. It's true, right? In general, in life, any moment when you leave, make out of the French, it spoils. So might use the zero conditional to explain to a child that milk spells when it's not in the French, right? The child didn't know the fact beforehand. I am telling them so that they know in the future when I use the first conditional sentence. I am telling you about a possible account based on the current situation. So it's like advice or warning about a present situation. Something that is specific. So imagine that you've just made a coffee. You left the milk on the bench, and then you gone off to the living room to watch some telly. So I am using the first conditional now to warn you or remind you about what might happen if you don't put the milk in the fridge. So I am not telling you a general life lesson or fact about life. You probably already know that milk spoils, but I am giving you a session or a reminder that you should put it in the fridge. Okay. Okay. Now look at a few more comparisons. When the sun sets, it gets cold, compared to when the sun sets, it will get cold. So I am using the same conditional again to talk about our general facts, all right? All around the world in general, it gets colder when the sun sets. But if you are about to leave the house and you are wearing just a t-shirt, and I might be a little bit worried that you are going to get cold, then I might use the first conditional sentences to remind you that, you know, in a few hours when the sun sets, it's probably going to get cold and maybe you should bring a jacket. Okay. Okay. Let's read one more a more example. If she doesn't call, I am annoyed. If she doesn't call, I'll be annoyed. So in the first situations, the serial conditional is used because it's something that happens a lot, right? She often doesn't call in every time I am annoyed. And every time she doesn't call, I annoyed. It's a really general statement about how I feel or many or many occasions. In the first conditional example, I talking about a specific phone call. Maybe I'm waiting for a call. I am waiting for someone information that I need to finish writing my report by the line, and she promised to call me this afternoon. So I am not talking about here general calling habits. I don't always get annoyed with her, but I'm talking about right now in this moment. You know, I am worried that my colleague's not going to call, and I'm just expressing that is really annoying because I am trying to finish my report. Okay, merged conditionals help you to move through time. So a past action with a present result. Okay, a key idea when we use mixed conditional is timed, but on confused time we invert tense. So of course we use different past tenses to express different times. That's true, you know, but typed terms are not always the same thing. So if you take look at a couple of sentences, I have a dog when I was a child. She was cleaning all the yesterday. So are these two sentences using the same verb tense? The first one is the past simple, and the second one is the past continuous. Okay? They are not using the same tense, but but they are referring to the same time, right? They both take place in the past, so they have the same time reference. And like I said earlier, mes conditionals are conditional sentences that use two different times in them. That help us to move between two times. So the if clause and the may clause. In a mes conditional sentences have different times that work together. So we take a look at an example. If I have a waking up earlier, I couldn't have missed the bus. So both these clauses take place in the past, right? I am talking about this morning, yesterday morning, or some other morning in the past, and the result that I missed the bus uh, also happened in the past. So I already missed the bus. I can change that now, okay? So let's change the sentences a little to make it made conditional. Okay, to do that, we need one of the clauses to be in a different time. So the if clause is happening in the past. So let's make the main clause about the present. If I had woken up earlier, I could be at work already. I wouldn't have missed the bus, so I wouldn't be at the work already now. In the present, uh, so now if got a mixed conditional sentences. One clause refers to a past action, and the other refers to the present. Okay, there are a few different ways that we can do this. You can mix and match several tenses and times together to make them a mixed conditional tense sentence. But I want to focus on the two most common combinations. So a past action and a present result, which is just the example that we just looked at. And then a present conditional and a past result. So remember, in both of these sentences, we are talking about something that's unreal. In the first, we are talking about changing a past action and the hypothetically present result. That could happen, but it can't happen because we can change the past. And the second, we imagine that the present were different. So to create the first one, we need the past perfect in the if clause, in the present conditional, in the main clause, okay? So if this thing had happened, then that thing would happen. If I have saved more money, I would want this house. If you hadn't taken that job, we could be traveling together. If they had paid more attention, they wouldn't be failing in class. And don't forget that, like all the conditional, you can change the order of the if clause. And the main clause, this thing would happen if this thing had happened. So you can swap, okay? The order of the clauses, but all of the information is still there. I could own this house if I had saved more money. We still have a hypothetical past action in the if clause and the hypothetical present result in the main clause. The other common mixed conditional sentence is a present condition and a past result. So this is an unreal present condition to imagine what the result could have been in the past, but will never really now because this is imaginary. Okay, so imagine if this thing happens, then this could have happened. We are talking about a present condition, but we are using the past simple tense in the if clause, but that's not a real past. This is how we use the second conditional to express a hypothetical present situation. If I were more outgoing, I could have introduced myself. Okay. Okay, guys, now you are going to complete the sentences with the correct form of the verbs in brackets, okay? Now, please, Carlos, number 1.
With any of the conditionals or the first one?
Yes, the first one.
The zero one. Okay. So if my friends come, I will be very happy.
Perfect. Very good. Okay, please continue. Continue, Joanna, number 2.
Okay. So if she saved a lot of money, she if she saved a lot of money, she walked to New York. What is the zero conditional?
Is okay. Mira, in the first verb, the first verb is the present. Okay, the first verb. Present.
Earn. Sería earn a lot of money. She will fly to New York.
She will perfect. Will fly to New York. Very good. Please, David.
Teacher, I have a question. This exercise is with a specific conditional.
No.
So I can choose how to say the verbs. Okay.
Yeah.
If you were sandless, if you were sandless in the mountains, you sleep on the rocks.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Continue, Carlos, number 4.
If Rita forgets her homework, the teacher gives her a low mark.
Very good. Okay, Carlos, David. Last one, please.
If the sun shines, we will walk into town.
Mhm. Okay, perfect. Continue. Joanna, number 1.
If uh, if I meet to Brad Pitt, I will ask for his autograph.
Isn't the what is the conditional about this sentence?
Meet.
What is the conditional?
Meet a I don't know a word.
No. What is the conditional?
If I meet to Brad Pitt, conditional the meeting.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure. Pues, la condición es, o sea, la reunión, el meeting.
No, te estoy preguntando cuál es en sí, si es la primera conditional, the first, the second.
Okay. The first.
White is the first.
Oh, zero.
Remember,
Because
the zero conditional is the present simple and the present simple.
Yes. So
tell me, wait a moment. Carlos and David, for you, what is the correct conditional about this is examples?
Well, I think it's the second conditional.
White is the second.
Because it's something like it's probable not to happen. It's probable not to happen. It's unreal, imaginary. Because if a little bit like I know how to put it, it's hard to believe that you will meet Brad Pitt.
Thank you, David and Carlos. What is your opinion? What is for you? Tell me. 1, 2 opinion.
I mean, it depends in the context always, because if it's highly likely for the person who is talking to meet Brad Pitt, she could say, if I meet Brad Pitt, I will ask her for his autograph. But if she is not near to him or is
Remember,
very
sorry,
likely,
moment, please. Remember that in these all sentences, you need the put the moral verb. Okay,
Okay. So I think yes, it depends. As I say, I mean, I don't have a quite clear the
Pero
concept, but
for you, what is the correct conditional? Is the zero, is the first, is the second, the third, or the next conditional?
well, for me is this first, because we use that to, as my classmate said, to point out things that are highly unlikely to happen. So I will put the first one. If I met Brad Pitt, I would asked for his autograph. Or yeah, maybe.
Okay. Remember, the correct the correct conditionals is the second conditional. Okay, because this is unreal and this is imaginary situations in the
Yes,
present or
but
the
teacher,
future.
if you are reading the sentence,
Yeah.
well, I mean, if you find that sentence in a like in a text, it can be in whatever condition. So that's what I'm I'm struggling with, is that it every every conditional is possible, is factible to use, but it really depends in the context.
Yes. Pero these sentences is only for the second, okay? The second conditional. You need to put in the second sentence, or in the second sentence, you need to put one the modal, okay?
Ah, en las que están en paréntesis.
Yes.
Ah, claro, claro. No, no. Ya, perdón, ya tengo claro. Es que pensé que tocaba aumentar el verbo modal también. Entonces, claro, ahí sí. Ya, gracias.
Okay, it's clear, it's all clear. Okay, Joanna, complete the want sentence.
Word with the second conditional, yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
So if I meet Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
probably to ask for its autograph.
What is the the modal for you in the sentence?
What?
Good.
It's word. Because it's no probability it happens that.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Okay, please. The B number 2.
And if we won the lottery, we
Yeah.
will fly to San Francisco.
Excellent. Okay, number 3, Carlos, please.
If they had enough money, they will buy a new car. They would buy a new car.
Mhm. Very good. Okay, Joanna, number 4, please.
If Susan study harder, she would be better at school.
Yes, very good. Okay, very good. Please, David, number 4, please.
If he were my friend, I would invite him to my birthday party.
It's all clear, okay? Okay. Another is examples.
If they waited for another 10 minutes, they could show the pop star. They,
Les voy a ayudar a la primera. If they had waited for another 10 minutes, they could have seen the poster.
Mhm.
It's the third conditional. Yes, teacher?
Yeah. Could have seen. Excuse me. Okay, David, number 2, please.
If we had gone to a good restaurant, we will have had a better dinner.
Perfect. Very good. Carlos, number 3.
If the boys had taken the bus to school, they would have arrived on time.
Excellent. Joanna, number 4.
If the weather had nice, they
Been, okay? Had been.
had been okay. If the weather had been nice, they would play football.
Could have played football. Okay.
Okay.
Carlos, last one, please.
If you had bought fresh green vegetable, your salad could have tasted better.
Yes, very good. Excellent. Okay, guys. Now you do to write. You have to make three sentences of the 4 conditional scenes in the class: the zeroed, the first, the second, and the third conditional. Only 3 for all. Okay.
Teacher, 3 for H1.
Yes, each one. The
Okay.
zero, first, second, and third. Okay, David, please read your sentences, please. Okay.
All of them.
Yes.
Okay. Zero conditional. If I eat a lot of food, I get sleepy. If she hurts her arm, she cries. If the dog bites a child, her mom calls the animal control. First conditional. If she studies today, she will have a great note at the exam. If he practices enough, he will win a prize. If the team win the game, they will make it to the finals. The second conditional. If she knew the answer, she will win the prize. If he had enough experience for the job, the boss will get him.
Yeah.
If I were a rich man, I would buy a lot of my favorite food. Third conditional. She had talked to me, I will have listened to her. If she have saved enough money, she will have bought a new car. If the student have listened to the teacher carefully, he will have answered correctly.
Okay. Excellent, Carlos. Sorry, David. Very good.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, Joanna, please. You too. Please read your whole sentence.
Okay. With zero conditional, if I run more, I get hurty. With the first conditional, if I feel sad, I will going with my best friend. The second conditional, if I miss the bus, I would get up more earlier every day. With the third conditional, if I had visited to my grandparents this week and gave them a fruit, I would have a give another thing in the next meet.
Okay, Joanna. Eran tres, pero está very good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Carlos. I will read for you. Okay, Carlos, please read all your sentences, please.
Okay. The zero conditional, if you don't work, you don't eat. The next one, if you eat balanced, you are healthy. And the other one, if John brush his teeth, he is responsible. With the first conditional, if I get first place, I will be proud of myself. If you play that way, you will be disqualified. And if Chris comes first, he will come after. And the next one, the second conditional is if they lost the match, they couldn't be so happy. If Carlos bought a cell phone, he could be able to communicate. And with the third one, the third conditional, if he had drunk that much, he couldn't have drive.
Okay, very good, Carlos. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and right now we are going to turn into the really quick quiz to help you put what you learned here today into action. So I'm going to give you one situation, and you are going to decide which conditional sentence is the best one for you to use. Okay, perhaps you can use one of the other words or the expressions that we practiced, as long as unless, right? So here, okay, so here's a situation. It's my friend's birthday next week. I want to get her a present, and I always forget. Since I like birthdays, and she always get quite upset when I forgot things. So, but let's just do this one together. So the situation is pretty real. There is a birthday planned next week is coming up soon. And I also know that there is a pretty high change. I forgot to buy a present because it's a really bad habit of mine. It's an example, okay? You can really say that the situation is hypothetical. There is a high probability that will happen. So tell me what is the conditional of the situation and tell me what is the sentence. Okay, so I think we need to use the tell me, guys, please. Think about it, this situation.
I think it's the third conditional because it's a thing that can change in that this person can give a present to her friend.
Okay. And David Carlos, what is your opinion, please?
I think it's second
Why?
because it's not secure that he will give her friend a present. He wants, but it's not sure that he wants to give the present because he always forget things like birthdays. So it's unlikely to give her a present for her birthday.
Okay. Thank you, David. Please, Carlos.
I think is the first one. Well, the first conditional because no, the second one because it's not the other ones are like to express facts and or are related to the past, but here the situation is that the birthday is to come, so it's in the future. So the phrase has to say something like that is so the phrase will be something like my if I always forget things like birthdays, I will not be able to give a present to my friends next week or something like that.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Okay. So I think the we need to use the first conditional. So the good sentences could be I forget to buy my friends a birthday present. She will be upset. Okay, because the situation is pretty real. Okay, is you can't really say that the situation is hypothetical. Okay, there is a high probability, okay, that will happen. For that, this situation is the first condition. Ok, Carlos, tú la dijiste primero, pero la cambiaste.
Sí.
Ok. Okay, another situation. This is in past situations. In want you to use the information that I'm sharing to write a sentence. This using the there's conditional. Okay, make sure you check the structure. Okay, so write your answer in the chat. And make sure you think carefully about which moral verb is the right one to use, okay? So here's this situations. You had object interviewed in the past, but you didn't prepare for it. You didn't get the job, and now you kind of regret not preparing for it. You wish that you prepared more. So was a sentences that we can write here. If I had prepared more, then maybe the result would have been different.
Sorry, teacher, I have to leave because I been with my words.
Okay, Joanna.
Thank you
See
for
you
this class.
every day for our evaluation, okay? Don't forget.
Yes, teacher. Thank
Okay.
you, teacher.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.
Okay, Carlos, please read your sentences.
If I had prepared more for the interview, I would have got the job.
Very good. Mhm. David, are you finished your sentence?
Oh, no yet, teacher. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, please read your sentence, David, please.
If I had prepared for the job, I will. I wouldn't have been regretting this.
Very good, thank you. Okay, this is the question. David, please.
If I had a headache, I take a pill.
A, B, or C? Tell me.
A. I take a pill.
Okay, very good. Okay, Carlos, your turn, okay?
Save. Say. See.
Okay, very good. Okay, David, your turn, okay?
You're nice. B. B. If you were nicer, I will go out with you.
Excellent. Okay, Carlos. Oh, Carlos, your turn, okay? Tell me A, B, or C? Todo el tiempo. Carlos. Oh,
Ah, estaba muteado. Hey.
Oh my god. Scary.
David.
And B.
Okay, Carlos.
Mhm. Hey. No, sí, 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 sí.
Okay, David.
And B. Oops.
Well, okay, Carlos.
B.
Okay. ¿Quién se
B.
dice? B.
No, A.
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. This is our last lesson. Thank you very much for the time and dedication in all of my classes. It was a pleasure to have been your teacher. Yeah, you have really been very dedicated and very respectful students. I wish you the best in your learning process in a foreign language. See you for the speaking evaluation on Friday. Don't forget, okay? Take care. Have a nice day.
Thank you, teacher. Same. Thank you for everything. And good
Okay.
Thank you,
afternoon.
teacher, for the classes.
Okay, very good.